For April the 17th, 2026, we talk about Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly Remake, 100 Jumps, Eclipsium, and much more. Welcome to Level 581. My name is Kaye Ross.
I'm Jala Prendes.
I'm Ben Merkel.
And you're listening to The Level. It's a podcast for people who love video games. Welcome back, Jala.
Hi, stuff's been happening. How are y'all doing?
Doing okay. I want to talk about your news, though.
Okay, well,
or you can present it however you would like to, but you've got an exciting thing to get to.
I wrote down two other things that weren't the big thing, so I'll talk about those first because I forgot the big one.
Okay.
So I went to two concerts over the weekend. One of them was on Friday night for Melrose Avenue with Autumn Kings and Stray View. It's metalcore or pop metalcore, that kind of thing. And that was a great show. Cool. Then on Saturday, we watched Exit 8, the movie, based on the video game. So I have the game to talk about, and I can talk a little tiny bit about the movie, but not a whole lot because I don't want to spoil it. And then on Sunday, I went to another show, and this one was for Dave. It was all like, I don't know, doom and death metal and stuff. It was Lamb of God with Sanguicinabog, Fit for an Autopsy, which is the band he wanted to see, and Kublai Khan, Texas, but like I like it. Like I don't mind screaming, I don't mind growling, but I like to be able to understand what they're saying, I like singing in there somewhere. So
that's
like I'm more of a
balance.
metalcore. Yeah, I'm more of a metalcore. I lean more metalcore than I do like the particular flavor of metal that show was. But it was a good show. It was a good show. It was a good venue and everything. We got sick. So we've been sick ever since.
Yeah.
And so I'm here fresh after having laid down for a couple of hours prostrated. So
thank you for coming.
yeah, no problem. I don't sound nearly as bad as I did yesterday. That is with concerted effort and rest.
Let's undo all of that progress.
Right, exactly. But yeah. So those were the other things that I actually wrote down. Maybe I'll talk a little bit about the Exit 8 movie first, and then I'll say my big news. So, so Exit 8 movie, I was curious how they were going to do that, because liminal horror as like the idea behind an entire movie length thing, like you can see liminal horror in scenes of a movie usually, but not like the whole thing, because it's hard to sustain that kind of sense over a long period of time. Like there are movies that do it, but it's not the usual flavor that gets made. It's not a very popular horror movie genre, I don't think. At least not in what I've come across. Anyway.
Not yet. This Backrooms movie that's coming out may or may not change that. There might be a lot of also rans on it, but like, you don't. To my mind, that kind of horror is like a short YouTube video, like somebody making the short spooky thing, or it's like Skinamarink.
Right. Yeah. Well, so this movie, it's an hour and a half long, and it manages to keep the sort of vibe, but it also, like, at a certain point, like the liminal horror of it kind of goes away, because they add a very, very basic plot to the thing. With your main character guy who's stuck in this, never-ending train tunnel or whatever. And, like there's a whole kind of plot that actually reminds me a lot of some of the themes in Catherine, the game Catherine.
Oh, okay.
So, like the main dude's problem, the main dude's shtick there is the same thing going on with this guy, more or less, except this is simpler. And, there's
commitment and maturity kind of stuff, right?
Right. And like related to an ex-girlfriend who is pregnant and oh my God, what do I do kind of thing. And so there's that element to it. Other characters, like the dude walking in the game, that guy ends up having like his own little like point of view narrative thing for part of it. Like the movie breaks it up into 3 different points of view. You have the main guy, then you have the walking guy, and then you have another character that I don't want to talk about because that'll spoil things.
Yeah.
And then, like, even though the movie doesn't have tons and tons of like there's not a lot of dialogue or anything in the movie, there is still a point where it's like 10 or 15 seconds where somebody says something that is basically explaining what's going on, and I hate that. Like,
gosh,
it didn't need to be there. It didn't need to be there. Just don't put that in there. It would have been so much better without that if you just left it alone. But that's a very, very tiny nitpick. I actually really did like the movie quite a bit. And overall, as like an adaptation of the game, but also as, you know, like a video game movie adaptation and stuff. There's not a whole lot to talk about there, but I'm going to be doing a bonus episode about it on my podcasting thing. So it'll be up on the coffee for people who subscribe to that and have the cutting room floor episodes. So Dave and I will be reviewing that combined with the game on there.
Cool.
So.
Yeah. No, thankfully I was afraid that it was going to be out of our theaters here locally, but it's still there, so I can go after things have been really nuts. I can go in a lull before this weekend when things will get nuts again.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. Yeah. I'm definitely interested to see what you think about it. Dave and I both landed on it in like a positive place. So, but anyway. So there's those things. The other piece of news that I've been pushing off that I forgot to write down even is the fact that since the last time I've been on, I have been hired by Dratzy Games to do writing for their upcoming RPG Alterium Shift. And I have been working on said game, working on lore. So they've been working on this game for a while. I interviewed the CEO of this company back last year, I think, and I've streamed the demo of the game.
You've talked about it here too.
Right.
This is the PS1 style RPG with 3 point of view characters that you play as. Yes.
Right. So anyway, like they've been working on it for a long time. They are in the latter half of the game in terms of like, you know, working on it and cleaning things up and getting things ready. They want to release it this year. However, a lot of their lore is, you know, in the one guy's head / old notes written that haven't been updated since they've been working on it, which, having worked on my own game project for, you know, this long length of time, it was like, oh yeah, I know exactly how everything will change. And so everything needs to be updated according to what's going on currently. And like, you know, they needed somebody who would be able to think logically and put all those pieces together and get all of that together. So I'm primarily responsible for writing all of the backstory lore, which some of it'll come out in the game itself via the books that are in the game that you can read and via NPC dialogue, which I'll be working on at some point. However, I'm not the only person doing the NPC dialogue. I am the only person doing the books. The books that are in the game right now in the first town were already written by the existing team, but everything else is going to be mine. And a lot of the lore stuff, I don't know if that's going to be like some of it'll be shown in the art book or if it's stuff that literally will never be seen by humans, but like I'm having fun. It's good stuff. I'm having a blast doing it. So yeah.
Huge congratulations. That's awesome to like do something you're passionate about and get money for it, you know? Like,
well, and 100% the reason why I ended up on this team is because I became friends with the guy that was running the thing, you know, in the first place. And he's seen me working on my game and developing my game, seen my production rate, seen the branching path narrative I've worked out and how I've, you know, like bang my head against stuff and push through to get things worked out. And when he asked, it happened to be like at this point where I'm about to start all the artwork stuff, but I haven't started it yet. So it's a good time for me to stop for a minute if I'm going to stop, right? So I will be working primarily on their game for a while. And then my game will be hanging out where it's at for a little bit. which is fine. A break from that is what I did last year anyway, with all the stuff I had going on. I had several months of a break before I went back to it. So, like, that's not a big deal for me. I'm fine with that. But anyway, so my game does have a new logo, by the way. That's up on the itch page. So if you go there and you look at the itch page, it has a cool logo now. Yay.
Was the name of the game mentioned? Or
my game?
Yeah.
My game is Shattered Reminiscence.
All right,
so, yeah, and you can find it at jalachan.itch.io. It is there.
Nice.
So,
yeah, well, that is huge news. I'm really happy for you.
Yeah. So I've already been basically like accepted into the fold, and now I'm being like invited to more stuff that most of the other people aren't in, and I'm like, I'm just getting invited to everything. Okay, I'm 100% like everybody is on board with me being there. So
that's good. That's good. It's that is one of the hard parts, is being a good like cultural fit.
Right. Right. Yeah. So. Well, it helps that I was already enthused about the game before, and I was already in their server anyway before. I mean, not that the server was super active, but, like I already was a familiar person to some of those folks. So, yeah.
Sweet.
So, yeah. What's going on with everybody else?
Yeah, Ben?
Comparatively nothing.
Yeah. Haven't started new ventures or anything.
We saw a movie over the weekend, but it was like hot garbage. It was
which one?
It's called The Guilty.
It's called Hot Garbage. Sorry,
yeah.
The Guilty was the title.
It's called The Guilty. Yeah, it's on Netflix. But we found out after the fact that it's like a pandemic movie, so that explained why it was all in one location, and most of the acting was done by voice. And so it's mostly a chance to reflect on why other movies are a lot better. Like, I think
just really gave me a lot to think about.
Well, the movie we saw before this was Tar, and so we were like comparing that, like, this character. Why do we really like this character and feel like they're really fleshed out versus like this one where he's just like angry the entire movie with like no changing. It's like, so I don't know.
Oh, this is the one by Nick Pizzolatto, the True Detective season 1 guy.
Oh, okay, yeah. Interesting.
Kind of like the poster boy for you have your entire life to write your first great work, and then you have to follow it up, and it's you don't.
Yeah. There were a few okay parts to the story, or a few like twists that were interesting, but anyway, we've already talked longer than that should be talked about. So long and short is not much is going on. So
I this past weekend went to On Cinema at the Cinema Live. When they came here to Portland.
That's awesome.
So got to see Tim Heidecker and Greg Turkington do another entry in, just the longest running, most hard to explain joke imaginable.
How's it different than like their normal like tape shows?
Yeah. So like they just do the show in the middle. Like they do the not really reviewing a thing like in the middle of it. But like it's surrounded by all of these things that, for lack of a better word, like advance the meta plot. So where it's at. So like you have Tim getting up, New Amato is his name now, getting up. Giving like a business style presentation about how his personal life is falling apart, talking about how he moved to Lake Havasu to get away from like the taxes in California. Just like all this stuff, and then Greg doing like a movie stuff. I don't want to like say too much because they did at the start say like, hey, no spoilers or anything about what's going on here. But yeah, so like it was like a variety kind of thing, but everybody was in character. And you got a lot of appearances, not in person, but a lot of appearances by the like extended cast of that universe.
I do like how if you're only like 2 or 3 seasons removed from where they're at, you are like lost completely.
So that's actually a thing. I'm not caught up on cinema. Like I I stopped. Like I fell off of it, and then it was like, I don't know if I can get caught back up. So I went, several seasons behind, and I still understood everything, and it was fucking hilarious. I laughed myself hoarse.
Cool. That's awesome.
So went to that with Gary. Awesome. So that was so that was fun. That's my big thing. That, and then just a bunch of tax stuff I put off for stupidly, very stupidly. Yeah.
On the bright side, when this is released, you'll be done with taxes.
That's right.
True. Hopefully.
That's right. You'll be done with it. But then also, laughter is good for the soul. We all need that right now.
Yes. Yeah. So looking forward to this weekend too. We've got some stuff going on. Cool. And that's what I got.
Talk on.
I think we should talk about video games. And to do that, we should do the regular kind of show with the grind, the multiplayer, and the end boss. And why don't we get started with
the grind?
The grind, where we talk about the games we've been playing over the last period of time or so. Jala, you've been away the longest, so I will throw it to you.
Sure. So the first thing that I'm playing, I can say 100% thank you to Daniel/Samichdu for putting this in my life.
Okay.
It's a game called 100 Jumps. It's a 2026 minimalist game where you hold to charge and jump across 100 floating platforms, released by Perfect Level Games on browser and mobile. So I have it on my phone.
Okay.
And you can also play it on browser if you're really like sitting at a PC and have nothing to do. And I've gotten into the 60s or so, but I have not beaten it. But it's just something to turn your brain off and do. And that fits some really good times when I'm sitting and waiting for things to load at work or sitting in a line or whatever. Because it does get increasingly more difficult to gauge your jump because you have to hold to charge your jump and then land an appropriate amount. But also, if you get in the perfect center of the platform 3 times in a row, then you get an extra life.
Ooh.
And but those go real fast once you start messing up. So
do you get in like a flow state where you just start hitting it every time, or do they like differentiate the platforms?
Well, the platforms will go up and then they'll go down, and then like that'll change some of the dynamics. So like for a certain segment of them it'll be a flow state, but then they start changing variables and changing how close together they are and making them smaller and this, that, and the other. And then,
do they start moving?
I don't know if they start moving. Not in the part that I've gotten to. But I don't know. I wouldn't put it past level 99 or whatever, So.
I regret to inform you that I'm playing this right now.
Right. Exactly. I mean, like it's not bad. It's a good turn off your brain and do a thing so your hands are busy and just kind of let go of things, kind of experience. So, that's it. Like, I think there's a special achievement on the phone version of it if you can do it in under 50 tries or 100 tries or something like that, if you can win the game in that long. But Dave and I have been alternating, so there's no way.
This is fun. Yeah, I need to turn that off.
Right.
that is really cool, though.
Right.
Kind of reminds me a little bit of like a like Bacon or Desert Golf a little bit in terms of I don't know, just in terms of like the minimalism of it, but the tricky dexterity and variation on it.
Right. It kind of like for me it fills the same space that playing Puzzle Juice, which is perpetually on my phone, or like that's that super complicated Tetris / block drop thing that I've been playing for 12 years now, or however long it's been out. Like I got it when it first came out on iOS, and I've had it ever since. And that one's like it's a Tetris, like you have to fit the blocks together, but then the blocks, have colors that you have to match. But then the colors, when a certain number of them come together, you can turn them into letters, and then you can spell words. It's layers of things you can do. And, no. I love it. It's a brain turn off thing for me. But I play that one. 100 Jumps is now one of those games that I can just turn my brain off and do. But remember also I was playing that Endless Runner Sky Dancers, I think it was called on iOS. And that was just an endless... They put a bunch of like ads and things you could buy in there eventually. And I was like, never mind. I don't want to play this anymore. But, I did have an Endless Runner for a little while that I was playing too. But anyway, so that's my busy game. And I've been playing that in little short moments here and there. You're welcome.
Cool.
So thank you, Sandwich Stew, for that. You've passed it on, and I have spread it like a disease to everyone else. The next one I've got to talk about is Eclipsium. This is a 2025 first-person surrealist horror game developed by a Swedish studio, Housefire Games, and published by Critical Reflex on Steam. And I think I sent you the link to this, Kaye, when I first came across it. So it's got like a PS1 era pixelated aesthetic. Some people describe it as a Lynchian game because the visuals kind of symbolize different things to different people.
If you're a fan of dithering, boy, does this have dithering.
Yes, it's super dither, but it's primarily a walking sim, but you do have platforming segments actually and other verbs that are available to you as you go through the game. As you're progressing forward towards a tower that has like a heart in it. And there's like a little bit of a narrative as well. It's not like just dropping you in there. Anyway, like as you progress towards this tower, you are sacrificing parts of your body to gain powers. And so like, you tear out your eye and then you have an eye on your hand that turns into a portal so you can see hidden things. And like your hand morphs, in front of your face because you got your hand out in front of you. And the reception for this was generally favorable, but this game didn't get a lot of attention that I know of. Most of the reviewers describe it as having a really strong atmosphere, which I think is spot on.
You can see it just in the video, especially.
Right. And like the sense of horror that you get from this game is more in like a kind of like a looming dread feeling more than it is, like there's not jump scares or anything like that.
Yeah.
Some folks did complain about the walking being too slow. And, there's inconsistency to the puzzles or whatever, because there are puzzles in the game as well. But it's meant for you to sit and absorb the visuals. So, like, if you were to run through it at top speed, you wouldn't be doing what the game is there to do. So I don't, I think they're kind of missing some of the point when you're having that kind of a response, personally, anyway. Yeah. So I have not beaten it. I've played... I don't know how much, maybe half of it. So, but it is an interesting little experience. If any of those things sound interesting, or if you look at it and you say, oh, that looks weird and cool, it goes on sale. I think I bought it for a few bucks or something like that. I don't think the price point's real high to begin with.
Yeah, it's like $11.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It kind of reminds me of like a short hike where there's like a filter that's on top of the game to kind of make it look kind of low res, but there's a lot of complicated things actually happening behind the scenes. And
the kind of the mixed media angle of it, like is your hand that's supposed to be like your first person that looks like photos.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, like limited animation photos, which is real cool. Yeah, I'm down for a fucked up imagery simulator.
Right, and that's what it is. It's like if you like grungy, weird aesthetic and, like some sense of dread and just kind of like existing in a space for a little while, like this one would probably be your vibe. But if you are the kind of gamer who's like got a dash everywhere that you go, probably not, know?
Yeah. No, this has been on my watch list since you sent it to me. So I'm glad to hear more about it.
Yeah. I've been sending you more stuff lately. I've been finding some little gems here and there. So anyway, any other questions about that?
No, it looks really cool.
Yeah, the thing that really caught my eye and made me go, okay, I want to play this is just the fact that your hand morphs and turns into like a blade and all this other stuff. Like that.
I want to get some body horror. Yeah.
Yeah, it's some pretty cool body horror. But like, I didn't realize you're sacrificing parts of your body and like, you know, tearing them off of yourself as you go. Because like, you don't see your body, you just see the resultant, you know, stuff. So anyway, so cool body horror thing. So moving right along. I played Exit 8. I probably would not have played all of Exit 8, except that Dave became determined because we watched the movie. And like, I got the idea of like, when I watched you play it, Kaye, I was like, okay, I mean, I can appreciate this. I don't know that it's my kind of thing that I want to play a lot, like sit with a lot. Because I feel like I'm going to get frustrated. I actually didn't, which was surprising. But like after a certain point, I'm like, okay, well, I got to like 8 and I got to 8 multiple times. And then I had to wait until there were no anomalies to finish the game. And then like I kept having anomalies and then, you know, like I messed one up or whatever. And then, you know, had to go back to 0. And I'm like, here, Dave. he finished it. So he finished it for me because I was like, I'm done with that. Like I ended up leaning over and I'm like, I don't think there's an anomaly on this one or whatever. And we did it together, but like
playing it together sounds really fun.
Yeah.
Having 2 sets of eyes on it, you know, to deliberate at the very least, get 2 people's paranoia about it playing off of each other. Right.
Well, and then too, you know, if there was an anomaly, which happened pretty often, I would be like, there's an anomaly here. I think there's something going on with the posters or whatever. And then, because one of the anomalies is just about like the posters doing a certain thing, but it's a real slow kind of thing. And I caught that, and he didn't. And he's like, no, it looks fine. It looks fine. I think you just imagine. And then, you know, we get to the next part and it resets to 0. And I was like, I told you. I told you. You know, or the both of us will be like, what was the anomaly? What was it that we missed? You know? So, but it was funny because we played it after we had watched the movie, and the dev added some extra anomalies after the movie came out.
Oh, cool.
So we were doing some of the things that the guy in the movie was doing. We were repeating what he was doing when we were playing the game. And honestly, I think that that's probably the best way to experience the pair of things is to watch the movie first and then play the game. You know, because I think that actually enhances the experience of playing the game itself.
Yeah.
So,
God, that's such a neat little game. I really
cool. And there's a lot of alikes now on Steam. I was like, oh man, not another liminal horror. Spot the difference. Okay, another one.
Yeah. Right. It starts polluting it. Yeah.
Well, because Steam started to recommend those to me after I played the one, and then I'm like, oh, it's another one by the same dev. Okay, cool. Yeah. Oh, that's somebody else trying to cash in on it.
Yeah, I thought his follow-up, the one where you're walking along, like on the train itself, I found that one to be a little bit disappointing, actually. Platform 8 or whatever it is.
Yeah, Platform 8 is what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I looked at that and I'm like, I think I'm good. Like, you know, I played a thing that's not really usually in my wheelhouse, and I knew that going into it. And I still played it anyway. And we beat it only because Dave decided he wanted to keep going. But I would have checked out and been like, okay, I get the idea. I'm good. You know?
Nice.
That's a tough reset when you get to the 8th one, I imagine.
Yeah. Right. And the thing is that right off the bat, the first time I was going through, I got to 7 before I messed up on the very first go. Yeah. And so like after that, I'm like, all right. And I sat there for a good long time. I think I was sitting there for like 45 minutes before I handed it to Dave and was like, okay, Dave, have fun with it. You know? But anyway, moving right along. I have one that's a disappointment to me for the ending of my thing. So I played Paranormasight, The 7 Mysteries of Honjo. So this is a 2023 visual novel developed by Zine and published by Square Enix. And this was directed and written by Takanari Ishiyama, who wrote several visual novels before this and also worked on, weirdly, Metal Gear Solid.
Okay.
So, okay. Anyway, I played this for about an hour. I bounced off of it real hard because I was playing and I'm waiting for basically the tutorial to be over, right? And I'm like, anytime now, and it just keep going, and I'm like, okay, and then I just turned it off, and I'm like, okay, I'm not interested. I'm already not a tutorial person. If you take too long, I'm out, you know. And then I posted about it in my server, and then one of my friends was like, oh, well, it has a rough start, but then it gets better, you know, over time, you know. And so I'm like, okay. Yeah. And then I talked to Will Hughes, and I was talking to him about it, and I was like, yeah, I bounced off of it. And he's like, yeah, I haven't played that, but a lot of people like it, and they say that it's really good after the first little part. And I'm like, okay, fine.
Yeah,
okay,
that's what
fine.
they're going to say. That's what they always say.
Right. Well, and then I tried it again, and I put in another hour, okay? And basically you switch between characters in this game, and the whole idea is that you are trying to figure out what curses, you know, what is causing the curses that are going on in this certain district of Tokyo, and so on. And
this is a follow-up to an existing game, right? Like Paranormasight's like a series, like where you've got the 360 view.
The second one came out this year. This is the first one that I was playing.
Oh, is it now? Okay.
Yeah. So at least I think it's the first one, unless it's a remake or something that I didn't know about.
This is the first one. Okay. Yeah.
So anyway, because it's allegedly this, you know, so I played through. I got through the whole first segment with the first guy that you play, and I was like, I got no more juice in me. I'm turning it off. And then I turned it off, and then I asked Tim. It was Tim. I said, Tim, when does it get better? Exactly. Because I played 2 hours and I'm not feeling anything. And then he's like, oh,
I'm mad about it.
Well, no, I wasn't mad about it. I was just like, you know, like, where is it supposed to be turning? And then he's like, I think it's like the very next thing after the part that you stop. But I have, and I'm like, I mean, yes, I could boot it back up again. I do not have any interest in booting it back up again to play more. So
that's right. You gotta ask people before you tell them how far you are into it. So it's like
So they don't just say,
I finished the segment with that first guy, and the second person is like, you know, where the story starts picking up, because the first guy is basically a very long intro sequence, I guess, kind of like in Raincoat, where you have that whole train, which is like your intro sequence. It's like the longest fucking intro that you could ever have.
That's exactly the comparison I was going to make.
Yeah. So anyway, that being the case, I was like, I don't know if I'm ever going to boot this up. Maybe on a rainy day sometime, not anytime soon. I didn't hate it. I just didn't like it. It was just there. I mean, it was there, and I'm like, okay, it's not striking my fancy, you know, like the characters' motivations don't feel justified in what they're you know, seeking out to do. Like, they just met this person like a month ago, and then suddenly they have this strong bond that they need to go and do all this stuff and kill people and all this other stuff in order to do something for them. And I'm like, no, like, no, that doesn't feel real to me. That feels stupid and contrived. And I'm just like, I don't know, man. It's not tickling my pickle. So,
like, how is the pixel hunting? Like, how are the adventure game parts with the 360 view thing? Because I could see that getting.
It has a little magnifying glass, and like, I've heard that on the Switch it's really terrible to play. Like the little D-pad things are not the way to play it. But on Steam Deck it was fine. I didn't have a problem with it. And you just, like, you know, spin around, but then there's the little magnifying glass, and it will have text that tells you what it is you're looking at. And it'll have like question marks. Oh, what's that? You know, or, you know, playground or phone booth or whatever. And then, like, you can click on those things to learn more about them. And then there's sometimes a button shows up where you think or you reason or whatever, and you have to put, like, as the game progresses, you're supposed to be able to more or less quiz yourself about the stuff that you've learned so far and figure out the mystery that way, you know, and solve problems and things. And anytime that you die, you get reset to the beginning of the encounter that killed you, so you can change what you do. And some of the stuff it's doing, at least at the end of the first little segment I was playing, involves like some, I guess, like meta stuff where it's like, oh, you have to go into your settings and change a certain thing at a certain point in order to prevent this curse from working on you and things like
doing
that.
Psycho Mantis shit.
Right. Doing Psycho Mantis stuff and things like that. And it's like, okay, well, I can understand because this person did Metal Gear Solid. They were working on Metal Gear Solid. No wonder they've got that in there.
I forgot about that detail when I said that.
Exactly. So, I mean, like, okay, that would be okay. But at the same time, I'm like, it's not, the rest of it's not pulling enough weight to really get me interested in what's going on. And if I played 2 hours and I'm still not interested, even though it's got like, you know, mid to high 80s reviews and the Switch version having a 9 out of 10 review, like it's got really good reviews. And I'm like, I will never know why. That's okay. You know?
People are sickos. People can be sickos.
Well, the thing is that what bothers one person isn't necessarily going to bother somebody else. And somebody else might like that slow burn. I'm just going to check out. And that might be their checkout game. They just want to play and scroll through the story and whatever. And I'll play 100 jumps or Puzzle Juice. And, you know, neither of you want to do the Puzzle Juice for your chill out games. So, I mean, you know, like case in point, right?
Just playing Tetris is fine for me. Yeah. I don't know. Like I had only ever heard good things about this one too, and maintains, you know, a kind of a passing interest in it, at some point. But yeah, like, I don't know. You can make a story feel like it has some propulsion. You can feel like, God, just so many stories, or like the presentation of so many stories, like you need to start it later in the thing.
Right. And that's the thing, is that like, because there's several different characters that you play, and I'm sure the stories interweave, and, you know, you've got to probably jump between things and do more of that Psycho Mantis type stuff. I'm sure later on it gets better, but at the same time, I don't know if I want to sit through it until it gets there. You know, like I've got so much backlog. I have so many other games I can be playing. So
it's competing with every other game that exists, right?
Right. And it's like my particular, you know, friction with it is such that it's like, you know, it's not friction that makes me mad. It's just friction that's like, I'm sad, actually. I'm disappointed because, you know, I wanted to like this game. I went into this expecting to like this game, you know? So.
Yeah. It's reassuring to me to hear that, because I feel like I would probably have a similar experience. So,
well, you know, it's not every game is for every person, and that's okay. You know,
it just has to be.
Right. How about you all? What have you been playing?
Yeah, Ben, go ahead.
I don't have too much. I have mostly updates from past week. I finished REANIMAL. I was playing co-op with a friend. That game continues to be pretty weird until the end. It is. We ended up being a lot farther through than I thought we were. I thought I was maybe like a little under a third of the way through, but we were closer to like half or a little bit over halfway through the game. It's one of those things where it's like hard to necessarily recommend, where it's like, I didn't have a bad time with it. There's definitely some jank around it. There's definitely disturbing imagery all the way to the end with it. But it's kind of like, where it's like something like Inside feels more like parsable to me. Like this just feels like a parade of weird stuff, and I don't exactly know what they're going for with it.
Right.
So it's kind of like, it's hard to evaluate for me, I guess. Like they make definitely some really bold choices towards the end too. With I think this part's not as much of a spoiler, but one of the ending settings is in a like trench warfare type situation, which was like kind of very unexpected, not really foreshadowed or not really relating to like any of the other settings up until that point. So it's like, it's such a, dramatic choice that it's like, okay, so clearly, you're trying to say something with this. This is where you want the climax of your game to be. But yeah, what it's trying to say, I'm not sure. And yeah,
no, coherence is, you need some of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So so this is one where it's like, if people, it seems like it's definitely in the horror genre. So I could see some people, if they just like horror games, like this is kind of giving you more of that content. And so it could be a good experience if that's what you're looking for. Mm-hmm. But I don't think it's going to work for everybody. Especially the kind of like the jank part where it's like, I can't remember if we talked about this last week or if this happened in between now and then, where it's like would randomly clip through the level and we would just have to restart to not do that. There's like a few things like that.
Yeah. No, that's too bad. I just the thing that sticks out to me from talking about it is just like, wow, why didn't they make it co-op mandatory?
Yeah.
Right. Like if everything could be solved, alone or with AI, I don't know. Just that immediately just gets under my skin.
Yeah. There's some interesting things they do with if you're playing it with another person, like the co-op of kind of how they change perspectives and stuff, and how they'll sometimes give asymmetric control over a situation. So that part I think is interesting. And then, I guess there's a way to do that if you're just playing single player. But yeah, that part doesn't seem like a challenge I would love to solve as far as like how you design that from the ground up. But yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I'm still curious to see where they go as like a studio, to see like if they just keep doing this sort of thing of like making games that are like kind of visually evocative and like disturbing looking and kind of like a fun house sort of thing.
Little Nightmares likes.
Yeah. And it's like, I don't want to, even though I say it's janky, it's like they are going for like really cool like set pieces and stuff like that. So it's like, I appreciate, they're, swinging for the fences and stuff. So I appreciate that. It's just a weird, it just lands in a weird way, at least for me. So
yeah, I can see it.
Yeah. So I think that's all I got for REANIMAL. Outside of that, I've still been playing Slay the Spire 2. I've beaten it now with every class that's available. So I think there's 5 different classes. I think last week I'd only beaten it with like the Regent, which was one of the new ones. So I beat it with I forget what the name of the class is, but it's like the Necromancer type one. And then went back through the standard ones. The standard ones are kind of interesting because it's like they're all like slightly different from the original game, where there's certain skills that are there that weren't there before that are like welcome additions. But largely the archetypes are the same, where it's like if you're playing as like the defect, like there's a power archetype where you're trying to cast as many power cards as you can. Or there's like a certain energy like archetype where it's like, I'm going to try and do chain lightning for everything. So largely those felt in place, but with small kind of tweaks to that. I guess more interesting is learning about the meta of the different maps and kind of the different choices you have to make. And part of this came from like consuming Slay the Spire content, but like learning that the first boss on the first map are a lot more deadly in this version than in the first game. So you kind of have to prepare more of a buffer to your health when you get there. So like I'm more often resting like before I go to the first boss, instead of just like driving my health down to 15, doing a bunch of like more aggressive type play styles. So like that stuff's interesting. There's a lot more kind of things that'll be cross maps, where it's like you might find an item on map 1 that'll say, hey, this will point to a treasure in map 2. And so if you're willing to wait an entire map and have this card in your deck that entire time, then you'll get like 600 gold if you get there.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. There's a couple things like that carry over. So that kind of like makes for a more interesting like problem space. Yeah, it seems like they're giving you more options as far as like choosing your volatility as you're going through, and like adapting to like trying to gauge of like how good your deck is and how much you can kind of risk like in the meantime. Overall, I'm happy with that game, but again, it's kind of like similar with the REANIMAL. It's kind of like a lukewarm sort of thing where it's like if somebody already has Slay the Spire and they're interested in getting this, it's like you don't have to get this right now. Like you could wait for release or wait for it to go on a deep sale or something like that, and you're not missing out on that much, you know.
It seems kind of made to you pick it up and play it and experience the new classes, and then maybe fuck around with multiplayer a little bit, and then put it away for a long time. And come back when it's a little bit more set in stone, right?
Yeah. There was I was watching a YouTube video over this last week where it was a designer from Naughty Dog, and he was talking about how important it was to design like the fantasy of the game before you design the actual like mechanics of it, where it's like think of like the player fantasy. So with like Uncharted, it's like you're Indiana Jones and you're doing this, and like starting with that and then finding the mechanics after that. And I think it's interesting with Slay the Spire, there's like no fantasy. It is like it is about as stripped down as you can get, as far as it is just a incremental like deck building strategy game. And there's like maybe some people are into the the ascent part or like seeing somebody at the end of the spire and that sort of thing, but that is like doesn't hit me at all. So I do think it's interesting in that sense, playing the game where it's just purely like
it's wireframe.
Anyway, I think that's all I got to say about that. And then this is the first week, I think, where I have nothing about Mugenics to talk about.
You're free.
The chapter might be closed on that book for a while until the DLCs come out. So,
have they talked about DLCs for that?
Yeah, they've talked about the next two. I think the first one's not even going to be in for another like year yet, but it's going to be adding 4 different classes to the game, and then the next DLC after that's going to be like an Act 4 to the game, is what they've at least said so far. But we'll see.
Cool. Yeah. I only have one, and it's one I've already talked about, but boy, I had a really bad time with Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly Remake.
Was this on stream again?
Yeah, this was on stream. I finished it out. I ended up doing like a double length stream this past Saturday because I needed to be done with it. Like I needed it gone. It was really stupid to keep on going. But like, I had basically bounced out of the original when I streamed it several years ago, like at the last dungeon. Like there's just a gauntlet of the hard enemies right even before you get to the final boss, where it's just like there's no way I have fucked myself with my saves. There's no way that I can overcome this. So I just said, all right, that's it. I forget if I even like looked up the ending on YouTube. With the remake, it was like, all right, so they had a chance to polish this up and, like represent it. Oftentimes there's going to be like a modernization that might smooth over some things like difficulty curve. You get a couple of new mechanics, some quality of life improvements. If there's a time for me to go back to this and see if I can feel what people talk about when they heap praise on this series, if I can understand it, I want to, because it didn't speak to me back in the day when I tried it, contemporaneously.
This is like the theme of all of our stories this week, I feel like.
Yeah, disappointment, and that goes right into the multiplayer as well. Yeah. But yeah, no, I really wanted to understand this series because no list of the scariest games ever is complete without specifically Fatal Frame 2. And they had a chance to remake this, and it feels very similar. And something that came to my attention, after I tweeted, I was like, hey, listen, I really hate this game. I don't think it's very good. Didn't like it in the original, didn't like it in the remake. Somebody said, yeah, I know the remake, they made it a lot harder on the base difficulty. And I was like, Yeah, it's like, yeah, no, the easier one is more like the original. It's like, okay, well, one of my biggest problems with it is every enemy is a damage sponge. And that's in addition to stuff you kind of expect to come along with some survival horror stuff. Slower movement, kind of rough aiming, kind of stuff. Just bad combat, right? So you have all of that, and then also every enemy, even if you're doing like the perfect timing for the shots, right? You deal more damage if you hit them like right when they're in the middle of an attack animation, right? So if you're maximizing, if you're using the strongest film and hitting the right timing, it still takes for fucking ever to defeat an enemy. And meanwhile, like there are certain encounters that you have to do over and over again every time you pass through a room. And it's just wearing you down. And it's like, I don't understand how anybody has patience for this.
So you can't like one-shot the monsters. You're like doing a photo shoot with the monsters, essentially.
Kinda, yeah.
Well, so it reminds me of, I've told the story before, but it's been a hot minute. Once upon a time when I used to work at Hollywood Video, there was a Game Crazy that was attached to us. And on my lunch break, I went over there. And they're like, they had a demo for the Hey You Pikachu or whatever, and the mic didn't work, and they didn't tell anybody. They just left the game in there, and there was a little boy that was in there that was screaming, "Hey you Pikachu! Hey you Pikachu!" The Pikachu did not respond, and this little boy was just upset, and all this other stuff, because he went up there and he was real excited until he wasn't, right? And
that's heartbreaking.
So, yeah, I didn't know about the fact that the mic was broken until later. I just knew the kid was screaming, and I'm like, this is the worst game in the world, or whatever. But anyway, just the futility of screaming in a mic that doesn't work sounds sort of like your experience with Fatal Frame.
Yeah. Like I feel like I was playing, and I was upgrading my camera. I was apt. I was like I met it where it was, and it was like just really infuriating. Everything about it felt arbitrary. And that like goes back to, so like the exploration is really slow too. And the environments, it's got kind of a feudal Japan kind of thing to it. And they have not done enough to differentiate. Like the game takes place in like 3 or 4 basically identical houses, except one of them has dolls. That's the variety you get for it. So you have this problem of, like I associate this like a flashlight house thing, where the signaling for what you are supposed to do, even sometimes like with a map marker or with a description of like an objective, whatever you're doing, like, well, I have no idea where that is because nothing is differentiated. So I'm going to very slowly just walk all the way through this building again, maybe go to another building because it might be in there, and check everything because like arbitrarily, literally, a ghost might have opened the door.
Yeah.
And
oh man,
I see on the Steam page for this at least that Team Ninja made this. Did they just do the remake?
They did the remake. Yeah,
that could at least explain why it's like more difficult, maybe. But
maybe, yeah.
Maybe
but like,
might not be the time for it, Team Ninja.
It felt very much like when I played the original. So like, I don't know, like if I immediately went back and played it and played the original, played them back to back, it's possible that the differences would stand out more, but it felt faithful to the experience. They recaptured the frustration and arbitrariness and general ennui of playing Fatal Frame 2.
Is that a success then? Or?
I mean, as a remake, no, because a remake is a second bite at the apple. Like, I don't know the person, and like nobody in the chat, and like nobody on Blue Sky, when I posted about it, was like, "Oh man, that game's amazing! I can't believe you!" Like everybody was like, "Why are you? why are you doing this?" And it's because my brain's broken in ways that are not fun for anybody. But yeah, I wanted to give it a chance because of its reputation. But like when you have to go and recheck every door because a ghost might have opened or unlocked it, or it'll be like, okay, follow this the ghost of this character, and you will take a snapshot of them, and they'll be like walking in a direction, and then you'll go to, okay, I need to head in that direction. There are like 3 different ways it can go with no indication of which direction you should go. Or they've walked in a place where there is no way out, and it's like, well, fuck, where do I go next? There's no just all this stuff. Yeah. Also with the damage sponginess, and I ran into this a bunch with boss fights. You're whittling them down. There's also just a chance, if they linger at low health long enough, like if you don't finish them off, they will enter a new phase. Any enemy can do this, where they go aggravated, like they start glowing red and their health bar refills. Just arbitrarily,
not giving them a second wind. That's not fair.
Yeah, no. Just arbitrarily. I had no sense of what triggered it, because sometimes it happened, sometimes it didn't. But it could happen in regular enemies and bosses alike.
Jeez.
So just feeling like, down to the inputs, the things I was trying to tell the game to do, it wasn't doing. Weak spots not appearing. Just all this stuff. Like, this is just a shambles. And like, this is all on top of, like, it's been forever since I've been scared by a horror game. I'm long past looking for that, right? But like, people talk about this being like a really good story. Story's fine. I'm not going to hold it against that. Although the dialogue is pretty much just people saying each other's names over and over again. It's like a reverse Pokemon, where the Pokemon can't just say its name; it says the name of the person. It says whoever it's looking at. But like, yeah, overall story's fine. There's a lot of text in it, and it's nice and creepy. This is all just on top of the fact of something I'm not holding against it, which I just don't find ghosts scary. Like the idea of a ghost, the idea of a haint, does not work for me in the least. And so, yeah. Boy, was that a very bad way to spend time. And the viewership was low because I was yelling the whole time. I was really angry at it. So I'm sorry, everybody.
Yeah, I've been streaming a little bit here and there of the Islands of the Caliph. I've been doing that off and on since last year. It's a dungeon crawler, but it's got like, basically an open world between a bunch of different islands. And I've made progress every time I've played, but like, I'm at the point in the game where it's like, I'm on an island and I'm just trying to uncover the map. And it's just like some tedious parts. And I'm like, as much as like the people have been showing up to see me play whatever I'm playing, including the dungeon crawler, like, I don't think this makes for good viewing. So I'm just not going to stream this one anymore. I'm going to move on to something else, So that was, I let myself free from that one.
I need to be more willing to do it, but it just like, especially like late last year, I felt like I was cutting bait on so many games. I mean, since Look Outside, I don't know that I've had like a real banger on the stream in terms of like a game that was like, holy shit. I guess Resident Evil 9 was was a snack, but
well, I'm looking forward to trying out that Deku Island horror game, that one that looks like Brahma Yugam.
You're right.
The Indian one that's set in the 80s in Kerala. So that'll be fun.
Yeah.
So.
I'll find something. I can only stream one night this weekend, so I might do something weird. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. Yeah, but that's what I got.
Multiplayer.
Now it is time for the multiplayer, where we ask you a question and you answer it. I am going to have to read this because Dennis posted it and he's not here. Dennis says, or asks, nothing is worse than wasted potential. What is the most disappointing offering from a studio that you know is capable of better? And Threnza gives us our first response here saying, the original Fable was a wonderful game in a series that managed to get worse with every following entry. 2 has a lot of narrative problems, and 3 is a minigame simulator that pretty solidly misses the mark on the narrative. The first part sets it up by making a binary, do you have enough money choice. Ugh.
Wow.
Yeah. I think that this might just be a case where like Fable was Lionhead punching above what it should have been, and Fable 2 and 3 were kind of falling back to what they're actually capable of. I don't know. Yeah, Jala, what does Michael say?
Michael says, most Disgaea games north of 3, in my opinion. They've noticeably pared down the mechanics in a lot of the more recent titles. Also, 1, 2, and 3 had some strong emotion in the storylines that the series doesn't really do anymore. It's a mild bummer of mine because I love the first 4 games.
I hopped off after 2, and I don't know how far they went. I think the last one that I saw was 6, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know I haven't kept up with that. That's for some reason or another, I never got into that one. Like I saw it and I was like, oh, that looks like it might be fun. Mm-hmm. But then like I just never played it. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Games exist. I don't know. There's lots of them.
It's marginally Jala coded, but I think that it might have had to hit at the right time.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Let's see, Ben. What does Dixienormous say?
Dixienormous says Resident Evil 6. Sorry, Jala. I bought it on release after me and my best friend had smashed 4 and 5. I miss the things that separate Resi from other games, is that right? 6? From other games and swap for generic action game tropes. The nail in the coffin is how much the game makes you stagger or fall over. I found it so jarring.
Literally. And what about those ridiculous QTEs? If we want to talk about things to complain about with that game, I mean, first off, I'm not going to throw shade on you for having an opinion different than mine. I know that game is jank. I just happen to have played a lot of it. That doesn't mean I don't see the flaws. So
yeah.
It's not even my favorite Resident Evil. I just play it a lot. So explain that.
One
of them's co-op and the other's
it became part of your brand.
Right.
Let's see here. Lucy says, to my mind, there are 2 ways to answer this: expectation difference and overall quality difference. Expectation difference for me is Blasphemous 2. The game is fine. It's fine. But Blasphemous is unique and thorny in a way that makes thorny in a way that makes it so memorable, and the streamlined sequel feels oddly a little bland despite the impeccable art and cool level design. Quality difference. Darksiders 3. Darksiders was a cool also-ran in the character action genre presaging God of War 2018. And its sequel, Darksiders 2, had a really cool open world while still being an entertaining hack and slash. Darksiders 3 was a terrible Souls-like. The devs desperately wanted their own Dark Souls and fumbled the ball really hard. Fury played too slowly to match the fantasy of her character design. The interconnected world was ruined by loading screens, and the boss fights were kind of mediocre. Just not good. Not good at all.
Sounds horrible.
Yeah. Then they put out I think it was like a top-down, like a Diablo-like Darksiders game, and that was it. Yeah, Darksiders 3 was talked up as being like, oh, this might be like a bonfireside chat kind of deal because of the Souls-like, but it's good to hear that we didn't
turned out
miss
to just be
an awful lot with
right?
that. Let's see. Jala, what does Malkav say?
Malkav says, an easy answer would be Anthem, of course. Old school things like Lionheart Legacy of the Crusader, Black Isle did way better, though I think they had lost people by then, especially since the first half is still pretty interesting.
Yeah. I am not aware of Lionheart Legacy or Lionheart Legacy of the Crusader. So I can't talk about that. Yeah. Man, my answer, it's like, so you can talk about a series that went off the chains or went off the rails or whatever.
Since I proposed this question, yes, it doesn't need to be from developers strictly.
Yeah. So like that makes it much easier, but also I think a little bit less interesting because like, yeah, you change hands, different creative team, like you look at Silent Hill and eventually it started being made by people who were fans of Silent Hill. And you get something different with that because it becomes self-referential, becomes shallower. You get Pyramid Head showing up just because.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where would you say that happened in the game lineage?
Homecoming, absolutely. Like Silent Hill 4 is like disappointing, but mostly because of very understandable things from its basically I feel like they have a good excuse for the way 4 turned out, and 4 is still really interesting, right? But 5 is definitely like a really good off-porting point. There it has its fans. There are people who go to bat for it, but yeah, I would say 5. And maybe the most disappointed that I felt in Silent Hill was Downpour. Because so much of that seemed like it would work on paper. But like if we're talking same developer, I don't know, man. Dark Souls 3 really did bum me out. Like it became, a really contentious thing in that season of Bonfireside Chat. But like they kind of lost their fastball with like the lore and world kind of stuff, right? And the play, I'm not gonna say that the play is bad, but like just real so that's what this is, or it can't, this can't be it, feelings kind of settle in the specifically like the back half of that, when it becomes clear that the thing that usually happens more gracefully with FromSoft games happened, which is we had to cut a bunch of stuff and we had to slam it back together in a way that maybe makes sense. Not a very good conclusion to that for me. But I know a bunch of people are going to disagree. I'm opening up old wounds with that. Yeah. Jala, how about you?
I would say Mighty Number 9.
Oh shit! Yeah.
That's a horse that everybody was beating for a long time. So figured I should bring that one up.
Yeah. And Ben, what inspired you to bring it to suggest this?
Speaking of old wounds, I think Star Wars The Force Unleashed really is just like a disappointment that will not wash away with the sands of time for me.
Just like for the Star Wars franchise, like Star Wars games in general?
Yeah, because this came out like I think when I was in high school, and so this was like off the heels of like Jedi Outcast, I believe. And it was like, they're making 6 Star Wars games. This is great, and seeing all the tech.
This would have been in college. Is when this was. This was
right.
a PS3 game.
Yeah, it came out like 2008 or so. Maybe 2009. Yeah. But yeah,
2008.
Remember seeing like tech demos of it and stuff, and being like, "Oh, this is going to be like a next level game." Maybe like hot on the heels of like PS3 coming out and stuff like that. But then it just did not materialize at all for me, and it's just like, oof.
Yeah. Yeah, just like the cool spectacle of Force pulling a Star Destroyer is just button mashing.
Yeah.
Just a bland Devil May Cry alike, just with some brand trappings. Bland and brand, that's what we call it. Good question, Ben. Thanks to Dennis for posting it, and thanks to everybody else for responding. If you would like to participate in these, go to follow us on Blue Sky at thelevelpodcast.bsky.social and watch for those prompts to go up on Monday afternoons. The End Boss. Now it is time for the End Boss, where we talk about things that are happening in the world of video games and how we feel about them. Ben, you have the biggest story, so I'm going to let you describe what's going on with Rockstar.
Yeah, basically they got hit with some ransomware by a hacking group that I had not heard of before this, called, was it Shadow Hunter? Shiny Hunter. And so they basically gave Rockstar a week to like pay them off money before they like released internal like confidential information. Rockstar didn't do anything, and so they released information, but largely it seemed to be nothing too damning. It's mostly just like, well, in the way that they threatened, it's mostly just like marketing materials talking about like how much money the company makes. When they did this, Rockstar released a statement saying like, hey, they didn't get anything like user sensitive information. Like this is largely like very surface level, like don't worry, that sort of thing. But the kind of eyebrow raising thing about it was it showed how much money they make off of Red Dead Redemption Online and GTA Online. And notably, GTA Online makes $500 million a year still, 10 years after the game being released. Which, yeah, I found that pretty eye-watering. I had to look up how much Fortnite makes in comparison. That makes like $6 billion a year. So that's kind of like not out of the same league. I mean, it's just one order of magnitude off. But yeah, so this kind of explains a lot retroactively of why there hasn't been another single-player GTA game since that one came out, or why they're not like too focused on that, or why like when Red Dead Redemption came out, the online was like right there with it, and like why there is like as much of an emphasis on that.
Well, and like how ruthless they were. I think they cut like Red Dead Redemption Online. Like they stopped doing new stuff for that pretty quick.
Yeah,
to refocus. On their cash cow.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, for better or worse, this is kind of what's happening, and it's, I don't know, for me personally, it's like a larger story of like, man, I just really miss the old like GTA games, or like I wish they would make more like open world interesting games that were just fun to play. But it appears that is not what makes business sense, so that is not the direction they've gone in. So
nope. The money is in daily login incentives. Don't you, isn't that how you want to play games?
It's one of those things where it's like, I don't want to like throw shade at somebody if they really get enjoyment out of like, having like a personalized avatar and stuff like that. But like, it's just, for me, it's a bummer just because like, that's just not the type of game I'm interested in. So
it's remarkable that nothing specifically about GTA 6 got out. Like, I have no idea like how they could have shaped the blast on this to not get anything sensitive, or maybe they got it and decided not to put it out.
I think they said that, or I think the attack vector was through like Snowflake, which is an AWS thing, and it was like through a third company that like does like metadata analysis for like Rockstar. I think that's like somewhere in there is how they got the information. So so then that kind of makes sense if it's like, sort of like a friend of a friend of a friend sort of thing. That's why like the information's not as like sensitive, or something that's like first level like user information. But
well, I mean, transparency is good however we get it, I guess. I don't know what the takeaway is, other than like, just our suspicion is true, or is it is the way it is. This incredibly lucrative ongoing project is a way safer bet for investors than a gamble on not just new IP, but like new entire SKUs, right?
It reminds me of that thing where when they ask people what they think like the wealth distribution is in America, and then they like make a prediction, and then they show them the actual numbers, and they're like, oh, it's kind of like that for me for Rockstar, where it's like, well, I assume that they made a good amount of money from this, but
I love those. I love the questions. You'll see these polls sometimes where they'll ask like, how many blah 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 do you think there is? Just like population wise, even. And my favorite is like, I saw a poll where they asked like, so like what percentage of people would you say are transgender? And like the answer on the pullback was like, people thought like 20% of people were transgender. It's like, well, they're talking about it all the time. It must be huge. Yeah. People don't understand statistics. Jala, what's this Bloodborne thing?
Yeah, it's short and sweet. Sony Pictures announced that they are making an R-rated animated feature-length film for Bloodborne, and it is going to be produced by YouTuber Sean William McLaughlin, aka JackSepticEye. That's it. That's the story. I don't know who that is. They're making an animated film based on Bloodborne.
He's a YouTuber-y YouTube guy.
Yeah, he's been around for a while.
This is after the Iron Lung success, I'm sure that's why this is happening. I didn't go see Iron Lung. Did either of you?
I have not seen Iron Lung. We're probably going to cover it on Adaptation Decay at some point.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I balked at it when I saw it. It's like more than 2 hours long, and I'm like, that's longer than the game, dudes.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. I know nothing about JackSepticEye. I just know this feels really weird, and I don't want. I don't know. I don't want. I don't want something made by a fan.
You don't want a bland brand coming into play?
No bland brands. Yeah. I don't know how, what does produced by mean? You know?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's tricky. It'll be interesting to see where Sony Animation Studios goes, because it's Spider-Verse movies, they're great. K-pop Demon Hunters, a lot of people like it. I like parts of it. It's they haven't made a outright bad movie yet, so it's there could be hope there. But
yeah, it just seems like a really weird partner up to me. Mm-hmm. It's they're just thinking about a wacky YouTube guy being brought in. And for anybody listening, yes, this is jealousy. Yes, I do wish that I was consulted. I know several people who should have been consulted.
Right.
But yeah. Ugh.
They're going on a name, but a name of a YouTuber who millions of people or whatever watch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're probably looking for somebody as big or bigger than Markiplier and being okay, that's who we're going to hang our hat on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also, I don't know if he pitched this or if they, he had to have pitched it, right? You would not think to just approach a YouTuber unbidden, right?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. My story is that the digital censorship continues, storefront and payment processor censorship, as kind of not it's not stopped happening, but it's kind of faded. I think the last real flare up for that was horses and then itch policy changes. But now it's not just affecting new games coming out. Google has pulled Doki Doki Literature Club from the Play Store because of its depiction of sensitive themes. Is what this is called.
Glad that they're not spoiling it, even with censoring it.
Yeah, I mean, how it's marketed as a horror game, right? Mm-hmm. So even though it does have the fake out and it starts looking like a dating sim or a kind of a harem dating sim, something like that. Pretty quickly the things start feeling like they're wrong. So saying this deals with some difficult themes. People go into it knowing that there's something going on with it. But it's not gratuitous in the way that it handles it. It is artful and tasteful. I feel like I'm describing cheesecake nudes, oh yeah, no, just real classy the way they do it. But it's been out for several years. This game is almost a decade old at this point, something like that. And they're deciding just you can't sell that anymore, basically arbitrarily and out of nowhere. And if this can happen unanswered, who knows what else? Because who knows what else it'll happen for? Because there are a lot of games that deal with very similar themes. They could just decide are not brand safe, so they got to go.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really glad that Steam doesn't do things make technology that they sell to military or the government or anything like that. So they come into these ethical concerns down the line, or they're just we're just going to be a platform for games and keep it simple.
I mean, they caved. I mean, even Steam caved to payment processors as well. Like, they are not innocent of this. They wouldn't let horses on that horror game recently. And they pulled down a bunch of, I mean, for as many games that are on there that are like have sex with this poser model, like that looks suspiciously underage in a school setting, like for as much as that shit just lands on the front page, like they've pulled down like a lot of like kink and furry kind of game stuff too. Like there's been some like, like queer games that have been ripped down. Like Steam kind of sucks at that too. It's not as big of a betrayal as Itch and what they did, but Anyway, yeah, this is a bummer.
Games, y'all.
I hope it's resolved.
Right.
How do you all feel about buttoning it up?
Buttons.
Thank you so much, everybody, for listening to level number 581. We appreciate you taking the time. If you want to help us out, you can go to patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv and kick in a few bucks a month. Get a whole bunch of bonus content. Alluded to Adaptation Decay, talking about the Iron Lung movie at some point in the future. That is a bonus show that we offer on there. Yeah, you can also leave a rating or review on iTunes or whatever podcast directory you get us from. Talk about us on social media, Reddit. Join us in our Discord. All of that is welcome. Am I forgetting anything?
No.
All right, Jala. What would you like to let people know about?
Yeah, so the game that I am now working on is Alterium Shift by Dratzy Games. You can find that in places. There is a demo. The demo is not the newest version. There's been updated sprites. They're working on updating the battle system. There's a lot of overhaul going on. So the existing demo and stuff, it's also in early access. So like the existing demo and reviews, a lot of that stuff is like outdated from the current iteration of the game. But anyway, have a look at it and see all the cool stuff that is being done there that I'm just jumping into. You can also catch my different other podcasts, Jala-chan's Place. I have an interview coming out probably before this episode drops with the developer of Cyclopean: The Great Abyss, Michael Schmidt. And so we talk about all 7 or however many games he's got out on Steam. He's got a good number of them, and he's working on Cyclopean 2. He was a fine artist before he started working on game dev stuff. And not only does it show, but we had a lot of cool conversation about like the games industry and how that's changed over time, and art and a bunch of other things, and some really cool anecdotes about some of his games. I highly recommend it. It's like a 3-hour long interview. We had a long talk.
I'm still so proud. Like you came into chat and asked people to guess how long the episode was. I'm still pretty proud that I almost got it.
Right. So it was a long one, but like it's a good one. It's definitely worth listening to. So that'll be probably out by the time this is out. If not, it'll be out pretty concurrent to this. Other than that, put that cookie down now. We have Conan the Barbarian coming up probably next week. So recording for that will be this coming week. So cool. That'll be out pretty soon as well. So yeah, and then on the bonus show, Cutting Room Floor, we have Exit 8 we're going to be talking about in more detail. So cool.
Nice. Cool. Well, I've been Kaye. You can find me on Blue Sky at kaye.zone.
I'm Jala-chan in all the places you can find me.
And I've been Ben Merkel.
And stick around for some titles.
I wrote a few down. Okay. I didn't get any of them from when I was talking, but I got some from after I was talking.
Okay.
I have reverse Pokemon.
Okay.
Sounds like a sex position.
A disappointment that will not wash away. which kind of feels like a lot of what was discussed during the course of this episode. And then bland and brand. But even though that's the, the short and sweet and whatever, I really like disappointment that will not wash away. That's very funny.
Ben, did you have any?
Just bland brand.
Okay. And I didn't write any down. I agree that the disappointment would be the way to go. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very funny.
On theme. Cool.
Yeah, it is.
Well, it is decided.